Damn it, swim! Lindsay, hurry up! Lindsay! Move! Come on, Lindsay, you can do it!
Okay guys, back again on the Phase Movie Storyline channel. How are you? I hope you are fine. On this occasion we will discuss a film called Frenzy which was released in 2018. Then this film tells about several people who want to go on a tourist visit on a remote and forbidden island. They do all this for nothing but for the sake of a mere content, but the intention that they do actually bring everything to hell. What's the storyline like? Let's intro.
At the beginning of the film we are shown our main actor, namely Lindsay. He and his sister and friends intend to travel to a remote island that is actually not allowed to be visited. Before leaving, Ped, who is Lindsay's brother, first made sure the pilot named Javier said that their trip would be completely safe and would not be detected by the Coast Guard radar. They feel that everything is complete. They are ready to start their journey with Evan, who is on duty as cameraman, recording all events one by one.
Well, the sea spots to dive in Southeast Asia, but today we get a chance to take you.
And cut! Purple left! Nice.
At first glance their journey went according to expectations. However, along the way, they encountered an obstacle, where the plane they were riding lost balance, because one of the plane's wings was damaged. No need to wait long, finally they all fall into the ocean.
Hold on to something!
As far as the eye can see, only a very wide ocean. Lindsay then saw the appearance of a pair of fish fins that began to surround her. Luckily the pair of fins didn't attack and just walked away. A moment later one of his friends named Kahuya called Lindsay. And Lindsay asked Kahuya about the whereabouts of his other friends. He also told if he had seen a pair of fins. But according to him the fins are the fins of a pair of dolphins. Not long after the conversation between the two of them, Seb also appeared. The three of them are now starting to think about the fate of others, especially Dave and Pet, who disappeared. While the pilot was lying helpless, before taking his last breath, the pilot asked Lindsay to turn on the sensor located in the tail of the plane, so they could get help immediately. Therefore, it was Kahuya who decided to swim and look for the tail of the plane. While Lindsay he is still trying to strengthen the pilot because they will definitely get help soon. Kahuya, who at that time found the tail of the plane, took an inflatable boat that they could ride. When Lindsay and Kahuya boarded an inflatable boat, the lifeless pilot disappeared, carried by fins, previously seen by Lindsay. Until then they were still unaware of the danger that would soon approach them all. While Seb was swimming and intending to go to an island that seemed not far from them, Lindsay tried to chase Seb, but suddenly the pair of white sharks came back and started attacking them. Seb, who initially wanted to find a radio so he could contact the Coast Guard, had to die. While Lindsay managed to survive and return to the boat, now only the two of them are left. In the end they confide in each other. Where the Rich used to be a military, but he quit after several of his comrades died during the war, leaving only himself. Not long after, Lindsay took the initiative to row to an island that seemed not far from them. One by one the preparations for rowing they reached and almost lost became the food of the ferocious sharks that began to attack.
Well, we have this raft, we can paddle there.
We need a regulator and an oxygen tank.
However, the ferocious shark was also starving and kept attacking them. The attack made them both fall into the ocean. But suddenly...
Go to the ark! They need you to swim! Lindsay!
Yahya lost his life because of the attack from the deadly shark. The shark that was never satisfied chased Lindsay, who swam towards the inflatable boat. Lucky he again managed to survive the deadly shark attack. Until not long after Lindsay saw a speedboat passing by, he tried to ask for help, but unfortunately the speed of the speedboat made Lindsay unable to be seen, and his voice could not be heard. Because he was almost desperate, he then tried to use diving equipment to find the whereabouts of the plane's tail and activated the tracking sensor, although he was a little hesitant to dive. But before he could activate the tracking sensors from the plane, he was again attacked by a group of white sharks, and luckily he found a weapon that managed to make the group of vicious sharks escape. Long story short, because he didn't want to get hurt, Lindsay returned to the rubber boat. He was starting to get tired of holding back the thirst he was feeling. Then Lindsay paddled as much as possible. He then found Evan, who was already floating. Lindsay tried to reach Evan, and was about to help him, but surprisingly, half of Evan's body from the waist down had disappeared from being eaten by sharks, and maybe because it was a waste not to eat, half of Evan's body was consumed altogether.
No! 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 Sorry.
Lindsay hysterically saw the incident. He then recorded himself with a camera that Evan always carried with him, where he said that if someone found this footage, he hoped he could tell his family, if he really loves them. After finishing the recording, Lindsay was desperate to commit suicide, but in the shadows she remembered her brother and the others encouraging her to live. Lindsay undid his intention. He then rowed to be able to get to the nearest island, even though attack after attack from the army of sharks continued to attack. Lindsay is not discouraged, and she is still fighting, and in fact, her goal is not an island but just a very high rock. However, there are some tools for asking for help and a bottle of aqua to quench your thirst. Lindsay tried to contact the rescue team via radio, but the radio was damaged. Didn't give up until there. Lindsay used a flare gun to shoot at the ceiling, hoping someone would see it.
Ah, damn it!
Long story short, the long-awaited help did not arrive. He accidentally found his brother, who was still alive. As quickly as possible, Lindsay grabbed her brother with a rope to save him from the attacks of the deadly shark troop, and he managed to save his brother in time. Lindsay then explains that his friends are now dead, leaving only the two of them. However, they have to fight to survive. They began to think of ways to quickly get out of these waters. A moment later, the radio rang, indicating that someone was trying to contact the two of them. And sure enough, the rescue team had now arrived, but their only hope for survival had to run aground, because the rescue team was acting silly and hunting for roaming sharks. As a result, they both have to die. Fools.
What? Hey!
Oh my God!
Because they don't want to die silly, Lindsay and his brother finally decided to fight the shark troops, intending to lure the group of sharks and will put gasoline to burn them, but suddenly.
Alright, let's hope.
I don't know if this is gonna work.
He almost became eaten by the sharks, however it did not stop him, and he continued to try to fight the sharks. With a stone that was deliberately tied up, his efforts made one of the sharks die instantly.
What? Come on! Wait, are you
Oh shit!
Hit it, get on the platform! Are you? Hurry!
Shortly after that incident, Lindsay sees the rescue team's shotgun. She swims to reach for the gun, which she almost makes it food for the sharks, who are never satisfied to devour humans. Luckily, his brother helped Lindsay by stabbing the shark without giving up. But he didn't realize that from behind the others started to attack him, and the attack resulted in his leg being injured because it was bitten by the shark. His injuries were very serious. The bleeding from his wound also didn't stop. Even though he survived the shark attack, he had to die because he lost a lot of blood.
I had to prove that I was... Do you want to hear the best part? 16 under, ring it all. It's over, Liz. It's over.
No.
Lindsay cried seeing her brother die right in front of her. He also ventured to take revenge by using spears, gasoline and also a flare gun, in order to kill the shark, and with a very hard effort because PPKM was still continuing and the cigarette debt that had not been paid, Lindsay managed to burn the one shark. But it seems that he had to lose his brother's body because it was eaten by the only shark left. While the only remaining shark was busy eating the bodies, he used this moment to swim towards the ship, hoping he could survive using the ship. Unfortunately, the team's ship had an engine failure and couldn't be started. Lindsay tried to pick up the radio on the ship to contact someone, but unfortunately the radio also lost signal. What a mystery about his fate. He also fell asleep because he was no longer able to hold back the thirst he felt. In his sleep he dreamed of meeting his girlfriend Seb and also his brother Pitt, who encouraged Lindsay. Moreover, they both still had unpaid cigarette debts and asked Lindsay to pay it immediately. Lindsay woke up from his sleep and his spirit also rose again. Lindsay then looked for some equipment that could help him, and he found 2 oxygen tanks that could be used as weapons, while from the other direction the shark continued to attack without stopping. Stupid, the attack he did resulted in himself getting stuck with the ship's propeller.
Ah, come on!
Look at the shark that has been caught by Lindsay taking advantage of it by trying to open the oxygen cylinder cover, and suddenly... The shark finally died instantly, and only Lindsay survived the deadly sharks. Lindsay survived and he returned to the mainland. So that's the end of the storyline of the film Frenzy this time. Hope you guys are entertained and see you in the next video. Bye bye.